Hello everyone. So what we're going to be doing today is just going to be changing my rear brake pads. I just noticed the other day they squeak a little bit. Actually they squeak when they're, I think it's a little the little tab on there that tells you your brakes are starting to go. That squeaks now basically when I drive all the time now, and then when I do push on the brakes to slow down, it does start to do a little bit more of a noise. So anyway, so what I did is I got some, these are basically a OEM replacement, OE plus they call them. They're a Motormaster. They're just the rear ones. They're semi-metallic. I don't know. We'll see how good they are. They were about 80 bucks. But anyway, it's got everything in here that we're going to need. The brake pads themselves, your clips, and some grease and whatnot. So everything is there. And then you can see, here's my new additions to the family. The Husky we had, a 14.5 years, she passed away basically at Christmas time. And these are the two new little people that we have. This one here is Isabella, and that one's Grayson. And they're going to be... they're going to be the ones that are going to be coming with me on Jeep trips and things of that sort. Maybe not down to Moab, but, in and around the city here and whatnot. And they're good. They're good pups. They are purebred Huskies. Right now, they're about 12 weeks old. They got to go get some shots next week. But, yeah, they're lovey dogs. Yeah, they're good pups. But anyway, let's get started on this. We got to get the Jeep... we got to get the Jeep jacked up, get the back tires off it and things of that sort. But we'll get going on this, and we'll show you basically what we have to do. Okay, so got the rear tires off, and as you can see, I've got a spacer. It's a G2 spacer. It is a 1.5 inch spacer, and the reason I do have the spacers on the Jeep, I've got them both front and back. The reason for that is because I have the TerraFlex dual sway bar ST disconnect. Basically, I just give this a twist to the trail setting. That disconnects the front end, and you've got one bar in there. You've got two bars. The street bar is the outside bar. The off-road bar is a smaller inner bar. It's like a anti-rock system. The smaller bars like the anti-rock, tons of flex. You get probably 85-90% of your full flex when it's disconnected. You don't get 100% because you're not 100% disconnected, right? So anyway, that's basically what that setup is. So yeah, so I gotta get these. Don't have to take any of that apart. Basically, we'll just get everything. I'm just gonna take apart this nut here. I'll get this off, and then you can see in the back here, my rear brake pads are pretty worn down. Good time to replace them in that respect. But anyway, we'll just get the camera set up and get this thing started so we can take a look and see what we're doing here. So what we had to do here, what you have is you've got two bolts. You got one bolt right here, and you've got another bolt on the bottom here. What you have to do, and as well, again, you've got your 15 mil and a 13 mil to get this all apart. And what you've got to do now basically is just pull this out, as you can see here. And we'll have to get this piston pushed back in as well. But this piston here, we'll clean it up, get all the crusties off it and things of that sort. Just make sure that everything's working properly and whatnot. But then we'll get these brake pads out of here and get rolling. Okay, so as you can see, here's the new pads. There's the old pads. So you can see we're pretty much done in that respect. So anyway, we'll just get these things on. And one thing you always want to make sure is that you've got the right pieces to go on. Check all your parts before you actually put this stuff on, just to make sure you've got everything right. You just gotta, I'm gonna clean up everything here. So I just cleaned everything up best I could. Like I said, we gotta get this piston pushed back in. We'll do that here in just a second, but I got everything cleaned up. What you wanna make sure though as well is that your slides here, They actually are free sliding, so you don't want these to bind up, because then the brakes won't work properly and things of that sort. But anyway, just make sure that those are all good. This is the way I compress the caliper. I know some people don't like this. You can get tools that are specifically made for this. My whole thing is, as long as you don't, like when you're compressing it in, that it does not go in. Like if there's a little bit of force on it, things of that sort, stop, back it off, and try it again. But as long as you're going straight in there, this is kind of hard to, almost need a third hand. But anyway, as long as you got this going in straight, like we'll get it started here, and then we'll get it straightened up. Hang on just a second, I just gotta move it here. Okay, so like I said, as long as you've got it in there straight and you don't force it, if you just go really slow, you can see it's compressing in there just fine. And then once you get to that point where it starts to bottom out and you get a little bit of pressure, just stop. It's not really that hard to do. I mean, if this was a double piston setup, I mean, obviously you'd have to get the proper tool for that in that respect. But as you can see here, it compressed just fine. Yeah, so just make sure you get them on what they're supposed to. These ones here have, I don't know, some sort of material on the back side, like you can see there. I don't know if that's just to keep them so they don't chatter or whatever it might be. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's get these things on. There we go. Give that a push. There we go. So you can see they go in pretty easy. You just gotta clip them in. This bottom one's just hard to see. There we go. Okay, so you just have to put a little bit of grease, basically right on here. Do that on both brake pads and whatnot, and then put a little bit where, well, you know, honestly, I don't think we'd have to on here. I am going to put a little bit on here, just so that it has a little spot on there. And then, like I said, just make sure that they are on the right way. So we'll do it here, and all they do basically is slide in just like that. Make sure you don't get any grease or contaminate your disc pad. Reason being is if you do, or the brakes themselves, you're gonna have to have some brake cleaner close by so you can get it cleaned up. So we're just not gonna touch anything. Yeah, so it's a matter of just getting your grease on the ends of the brake pads, and then a little bit right there, and then we'll get this thing on here as well. Your little grooves there, get it sit down in there. Usually when you get that one in, the other one falls into place. Most of the time. Nope. Okay, we'll get that clip back. So there you go. You can see we've got it in there. So what we have to do here now is just get our caliper back on here. So, and as you can see, because I greased everything up, everything is going together. Cleaned everything up. Everything's going together pretty well here now. And I compressed the caliper there, so that, get is lined up here. There we go. Okay, so we just got to get these in. What I would do is just check your torque specifications on this. They've got to be tight, but we'll get this tightened up and we'll move over to the other tire. Okay, so as you can see, we've pretty much got her done here. Well, this side here is all done. As you can see here, there's our brake pads, and you can see the pistons pushed in there, so we'll have to push the brake. We'll have to get the break-in period done as well. But just make sure you've got everything in here. Good idea to use some Loctite on these as well, just so that you don't have anything come apart, because the brakes are the things that you do not want to have come apart. I've got to hook this back up. I just need to get it out of the way. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions at all, comments, questions, whatever it might be, just let me know. I'll answer them for you. But this is a pretty simple job. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.